Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you're all doing good. Let me know you can hear in chat. Let me know it's clean sound, and then we will get on the way with some analysis. Lots to go through today. Lots and lots to go through. All good. All right. Welcome, guys. Good morning, Bart, Ryan, Merrick, John, Coop, Jen. Thanks for showing up. All the regulars. So what are we looking at? Okay, let's take you over. Sorry, let me just zoom this up so I can see, make sure you can all see the same thing. All right, this is a 5-minute chart here. You will see that overnight, all right, we were in a very, very clear and obvious channel. Okay, a super obvious channel from yesterday's morning pivot. Okay, so yesterday's low at 10:30, we had a very obvious channel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 taps, and we just flushed through it now for a little trap potentially before soaking. All right, and the top of the channel also held. So coming into my morning briefing with the room, we were very, very aware of this channel we were in. The other thing we were looking at was a very clear pivot. Okay, this pivot was into this level right here, because this is where buyers showed up. So for sustained downside pressure, we were going to need to see this level let go and stay heavy. All right, and we had that. We're now repricing and rebalancing. It is a tricky market today. It's going to be a tricky market, and the reason for that is very much like yesterday, we are going to build liquidity for tomorrow for our FOMC. So what does that mean? You have them building stops in for tomorrow, but what you also have to be aware of is if market makers, institutions have been net long on positions for the last month or two, all right, off that low that we put in August, all right, they might want to start trimming some profits into tomorrow. That doesn't mean they're not going to be bullish, but if they want to reduce their size and exposure, right, we can get whippy, which is kind of what you're seeing this morning, all right, and we're still in rollover. If we look at the hourly, all right, POC moved up this week. And yesterday we had that point of control at 60 or 663. If that is way off versus your chart, it's because I've moved to the new contract. Okay, so the new contract is, I think it's about 220 points higher. All right, so just move to the new contract. The new contract is NQZ 2024. It is the December contract. That's what you want to move to. Let me just move this. All right, so you want to be focused on that new contract now. We've rolled over now. So POC from today is above us, sitting around 780 for now. If we start to get weak and flush that, we can test yesterday's value area high, which is around 680, and the point of control. Any of you who have done my cash gaps lessons in the course, or there is one free on YouTube, be aware of that cash gap on the QQQ. That cash gap will take you down to 473. So we had a significant gap up this morning. The question is, can it hold its gains? Right now, we tested the pre-market low. We are soaking right around trend. I want to also look at the daily, all right? The daily right here, we are building a potential bull flag, aren't we? So if we think about this nice drive up we've had, this here is consolidation that we are in now. This right here, right on the 5-day and 20-day. And if we can expand higher, where are we going to go to? The most obvious place we're going to go to is the stops, all right? The stops that we created, which is the old 700 level, which is basically now 900 to 950. This level here, there is a ton of liquidity. Does it do it today? I have no idea. I would not be surprised if we stay in a very tight range, probably within yesterday's range and Friday's range, maybe a slight expansion either side, but maybe we leave these stops for FOMC tomorrow, because I can imagine if we stay down here and we do, I don't know, half a basis point cut, we can come and run these levels up here tomorrow. But I will trade whatever the market presents. For now, we are looking at a fairly choppy market, all right? We took a nice short in the room this morning. I'm going to go to the lower time frame chart now so you can see what we were looking at. All right, the short we took this morning We did not take this bear flag, okay, because we didn't know if we were going to soak here, but I did take this underneath VWAP for this extension down, which I now got out of. And I just said to the room before we moved across, you must be aware of this liquidity, okay, this level right here. If it starts to reclaim, all right, and we start to do this, we can run the highs, and then that will cause a breakout on the daily of that flag. So it is very, very, very tricky today, much like yesterday. Tech in general was looking pretty good. The only weak stock today was Apple, because it is really struggling with that new iPhone. The iPhone 16 has not very good pre-orders announced yesterday, and PDD in China has already put it on a 10% sale, which does not look good for the market. Basically, it suggests that they're going to lose 10% of their profit, right? So that will get put into the market. The market's forward looking, so it will sell off some of Apple, which we've had, but it has just gone red to green. If we can get sustained bid pressure, then maybe we can get this breakout. It is really, really tricky, team. On days like today before FOMC, you have to be careful. You have to be careful, because whatever the charts say in front of you, okay, whatever the charts say in front of you, it can change very, very quickly if they start positioning long, all right? If they start positioning long, because, and when I say they, I'm talking about the institutions, because if they know we're going to get a major pivot tomorrow, and they think we can go and seek liquidity above, and they don't think that tomorrow is going to offer any pullback leg, or today is going to offer any pullback leg, and they start bidding up because they think this is the best price, we can start expanding rapidly. Equally, the same thing for the other way, right? If they want to take profits, they will. So I would be very aware right now of this kind of channel. This is an expanding channel, which is not very nice, typically not very good. And if we're starting to break, then we're going to think about the liquidity we just talked about, right? We're going to think about, can it do this? I'm not buying here. I want it to prove to me that we can go and run these highs and have expansion higher at that point. On a day like today, what can we expect? Very similar to yesterday, all right? We might have very similar price action to yesterday. Before I left you on stream yesterday, you remember I said we are in a typical initial balance day. And on a typical initial balance day, when we don't have expansion outside the range, we will chop, force liquidity to get trapped inside the range, and then we will go and test each side of the balance. So if we just look at yesterday as a reminder, because it might help you today, move back. All right. Yesterday in the stream, when I left you, we were around here, 12 o'clock. All right. And I said to you, unless we get an auction lower, oh, let's get that drawing tool. Unless we get that auction lower where we reject the initial balance low, this purple line, then we have the ability to build liquidity and come back up. VWAP was first target, if you remember, and the top purple line second target. Almost made it. ES did make it. So you have to be aware of something similar today. All right, look how choppy this price action was. Give a nice morning flush, drive back up, retest the lows, didn't break the lows, shorts get trapped, move back to the upside. So what are we looking at now? Something kind of similar. Something kind of similar. Nice morning flush, okay, back to the upside, retesting this lower time frame supply block right here. This is your trigger right now. All right, needs to reject this for a bear flag type move back underneath and a rollover to retest the lows. If it doesn't do that, it will have a failed push to the downside, potentially trapping shorts, and then we can think about upside pressure. The other thing I'm looking at is these flow zones. All right, very similar to yesterday. How do we know it's not in a very, very strong trend? If you look at this deep pullback flow zone, the bottom line, all right, it's pretty much flat. And if you look at the top line, overnight looked not too bad, right? You had the gap between the two, nice strong trend. That is a nice trend. That is an easy trend to play. Even the reversals, when it offers it, becomes easier because you've got that target of the lower time frame algo underneath. But right now, everything is very, very tight yet again, all right? Does look good for a potential breakout here. Looks like shorts got trapped underneath previous day close, that white line. and into the bottom of the channel. Remember the bottom of the channel right here that we talked about, the very clear channel overnight. So notice there was no 5-minute closure underneath. Wicked underneath, got soaked up, ran back to upside. So if enough shorts got trapped down here, we have potential for an upside move. So ideally it will do something like this now, and we will be targeting these. You have to respect these for now. Sellers have come in there overnight and this morning off the open push. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm going to be very, very flexible today. I'm going to be nimble. I'm not going to chase this market. This market will likely punish anyone who joins in late today because it's building liquidity. Getting back to the chat. Morning, Scott Foster, morning. Radar Trades, OMZ Capital. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. All right, let me know if you have any questions. I am flat in my positions right now. As I said, we took a short breakdown in the room for that test of the lower channel. We talked about in the room the potential for this inverse head and shoulders. So you guys have not missed anything right now. You've not missed anything. Just checking the room. Yes, Ryan, the new contract NQZ 2024. So today's going to require patience, going to require a lot of patience. All right, everything is flat. So right now we are basing right on previous day high. That red line is the previous day high. Can it offer a pullback, a hold, an inverse head and shoulder to trap more shorts for the squeeze up? That's pretty much the question today. All right. Look at the daily, make sure you're zoomed out on the daily. Look where you are on the daily. If it can offer that and we start to break out to the upside, you are going to get a flag, a daily breakout for that move for a push up into 900. The stops are at 900. If you look at the daily and you look at where the stops would have been for shorts from September the 3rd, August 30th, August 29th, August 28th, August 27th. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got a 5-day balanced range there where shorts were very comfortable. If they have not stopped out and taken profits on the way down, which they won't have, they will have left some stops there. We have the potential for a stop run and expansion higher. If we get cleanly through that 900 level, we will approach 20,000, the psychological level, and the top of that range will be considered 20,150 up to 20,250. If we get through that, by the time we get there, assuming we don't do that move today, I would imagine that Bollinger Band is on the daily is about the exact same level. So then we're going to get contraction on the Bollinger Band, and once you get contraction on the Bollinger Bands, which has already started happening over the last 6 or 7 days, all right, then you get stochastics, everything starts squeezing together, and that's when you have the potential for monster moves, because everyone starts to get squeezed on higher time frame levels. So if the 5-day can stay above the 20-day, if we put the squeeze on, then maybe the NQ can start getting to the upside, all right? And we would expect the ES to take out its all-time highs because it has relative strength. Good morning, Mindful Matters. Morning, Stephen. Morning, Frank. Thank you all for joining. All right, so super patient here. We're not chasing anything. We're going to wait to see, does the trend develop? We did just have news at 10 o'clock. Remember, we have the initial balance coming out at 10:30, the first hour of trading. We are not expecting an amazing day today. I would love it to prove me wrong. Okay, if we get a nice trend day, I will be joining a trend day. If they're going to bid up early in anticipation of rate cuts tomorrow, we will quite simply join this trend. Okay, so far it looks like this is building, doesn't it? Not much of a pullback here, right? All the candles are upside, so it makes it very, very hard to come in at good prices. Move this down to a 1-minute chart. All right, there we go. So right now you should be looking at this channel and you should be thinking about where is a potential pullback range. All right, so this is your lower time frame channel. Right now, something like this. This is a strong move. And this, okay, is sitting within that channel that we built since yesterday. This is what I'm talking about. You have to be careful of these flush points. Right, so let's see now if the market is able to hold this push up. Does VWAP start soaking? Does the momentum cloud start soaking? Does the pullback cloud start soaking? Can we trap more shorts in? All right, if we trap more shorts in this level right here, then we get this move, don't we? This is the move we were talking about. That's why you don't chase upside pressure to a long. Okay, you never chase. Remember, a move up like this will offer a pullback. You're looking to enter this pullback, partial break of structure, and then hold runner. Very, very simple. Do not ever chase upside pressure, all right? It will get you stuck in the market. It's the easiest thing to get wrong. So potential flag here. This is the type of thing you're looking for. You have to think about high of day right now, right up here. So this is a easy level if it wants to come and take that liquidity. And a deeper pullback can happen, all right? Think about the size of this. This is where the liquidity is. And you can also think about the fib from this low of day to this high. For those in the room, you will see exactly what I'm looking at. This is your flag fib, right? That's the flag fib. So if it's going to do deeper, we're going to come to VWAP. That's where the 50 is, and under there, you're into golden zone pocket. I'm far less interested in that point for a strong move because we're inside initial balance. I know I'm moving fairly quick this morning off the first 10 minutes on the stream, but there was a lot to get through there to get you prepared. All right, so you're looking for potential continuation plays for upside. There is no clear and obvious trend, all right? Yes, there's a channel up. Yes, we are in bull, but this is pretty much flat. So if you don't take this, if you're not comfortable taking that, remember you have to play your own plays. You can wait, all right? You can wait for a trend to develop or wait for a failed breakout to develop and a rotation. That's what we'll be thinking about when we come into that initial balance high in 14 minutes time. Any questions, anyone in stream? All right, those in the room, we talked about it this morning. Check out the VIX, okay? Check out the VIX. It had that drive up, it failed. Where did it fail? It failed in front of 1750. That same level that was key yesterday, that's where it failed. And now it's trading underneath 17. So on the VIX, if we start to fail 1695, we have gap fill potential down to 1660. If we fail that neckline on the VIX, anyone looking at the VIX, if we fail the neckline and we flush into that gap, I expect the market to do a strong push to the upside. I have no position on right now. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting and stalking this market. I'm going to wait. Remember, we are in a rollover week. We are in a triple witching week. We have FOMC tomorrow where they're pricing in evenly a quarter point cut and a half point cut. We don't expect more than that. Some of you might have watched the news. You will see lots of the Democratic Party came out yesterday asking for a 3/4 point cut. That is not going to happen, and that is absolute desperation for them because they know this economy is in trouble right now. Okay, consumer confidence is not good, public spending is not good, you have contraction on the market, so they need to stimulate the market with a cut. There, if they do a 3/4 point cut, it will cause panic in the market. So I very, very much doubt that happens. I'm sure the Dems want that to happen because they know they've cooked the books over the last year. So anyone who watched those unemployment rates and all that data, these are macro things you need to be aware of because it can really, really make a difference in the market. But the market has only priced in a quarter point and half point cut. That's what we're expecting for tomorrow. If we get that, maybe we get a bullish run initially, and maybe the SPX, SPY, ES can take out its all-time highs. I very much doubt that NQ would do that. It has relative weakness. It's quite a long way off. We look at the NQ. NQ's all-time highs right now on the new contract are sitting at 21,300. All right, so over 1,000 points away. Or not that far actually. Yeah, over 1,000 points away. Almost 1,300 points away. Very, very unlikely we do that. Sorry, my maths is terrible, isn't it? 2,300 points away. Okay, so no closure above, still building liquidity. So if we keep failing up here, all right, if we keep failing up here in these levels, this will be your liquidity. It will start to run that, and then we have to see, do we reject and come deeper, or do we do another trap off VWAP and reclaim? Like I said, today is likely to be really, really choppy, team. We are not expecting beautiful, clean action today, but if we get it, we will take it. Some days before FMC, we get lucky and it offers some really, really nice price action. But normally it is just higher time frame traders and institutions positioning themselves for the move tomorrow, and that can either be taking profit or putting more risk on early, dependent if they think the market is at good value. All right, so Apple back to red, right? It's really struggling at that 216, 217 level. If you remember, 220 was key on Apple, so we're underneath a very, very key level on Apple considerably, and it's now red on the day. Bonds are all green. I'm not even looking at Dixie anymore. Like I said, I expect the Dixie just to sell and sell and sell over time. Any pop will eventually be faded. All right, so potential flag still playing out here. Still looks good. We are above all the flow zones and we are bullish. All right, so if you take this, you must take a partial into these levels. So far, nothing here has suggested it's ready to go. It's still building that liquidity for the potential move. And like I said, Apple is weak. Can you explain your main driver again on why you think only a quarter cut? Well, I don't know. Originally, I thought a quarter cut, but they've started to price in a half cut. Why would they do a half over a quarter? They will do a half over a quarter if they think they really need to they need a stimulus in the economy, which over the last week has started to play out more and more and more. All right, so you've got consumer debt is at all-time high, government debt's at all-time high, luxury goods are not being bought. That's started to show in Apple, right? No one's buying the new phone on Apple. That is a very, very strong sentiment that no one's got any money. The first thing that you stop spending on, right, when you have a lack of money, are luxury goods, because you need to focus more on paying your bills and putting food on the table. So just watching this right now, if it tries to roll down for that deeper move. So the flag, we never closed above, flag coming back down, testing the low side of this range. So potentially it's going to wash out bulls that got in early here. So we're just being patient here. Remember, we can dive deeper. Scott, I'm going to come back to you. I've not finished talking about that. Right, so it might want to test lower time frame algo. Look at this liquidity here. If it just needs to take that to come back inside, it can. If it's going to roll over, it will complete this cup all the way back down. Very, very tricky conditions here. You have a fight on multiple time frames, which is why I'm just being patient and waiting. We've got 10 minutes to the initial balance. Right, so what was I saying, Scott? Yes, so debt at all-time highs. If you look at the jobs numbers, there's less job creation right now. There's more unemployment, right? We know that they cooked those books. They had to come out and admit that they cooked those books by the tune of 800,000 jobs. All right, so they're probably cooking quite a few books. So this is not unusual. It happens a lot, all right? They put numbers out and then they're trying to adjust it quietly 3-4 weeks later. So with that said, could they do a half basis point cut? Absolutely. Right now, the numbers are starting to point to they need to stimulate the economy. The problem is if they go too much, too quick, too fast, you effectively spook the economy. And what you also do, if you do that, let's say you're waiting to buy a house and interest rates are all-time high and they start cutting a quarter or a half or whatever. That starts to give you the signal that, okay, well, maybe in 3 months they're going to cut again. And then 3 months later, they're going to cut again. And then in 6 months, they're going to do a point cut. What that does is cause stagflation, because then anyone who's smart just stops spending. They're like, well, we're going to wait for these rates to come right the way down. And that in turn hurts the economy, because when they stop spending, the economy doesn't move at all. And this is when you go into recession on quantitative easing, something a lot of people don't understand. If we cause stagflation, if we stop spending, right, if consumers stop spending, if big companies stop investing in their own products. Remember, the last few years, profits have gone up because they've made cutbacks to costs, not because productivity's gone up. So it's not a healthy economy where they're hiring more people, they're doing more sales, it's growing in every facet. What you've got is companies cutting back and hitting their profit targets by having less costs on the book, right? So all these things we have to think about macro wise. So yes, do I think they could do a half? Yeah. Do I think they're going to do more? I don't, because I think it will really, really spook the market. Even though you can see it as positive, it's basically saying, hey, we're in big trouble here. We've waited too long to cut, and now we're in trouble. So right here, we're still potential of flag, but was that a weak rollover? Yes, it was. All right, so it got everyone trapped there, didn't it? It's holding above lower time frame algo and VWAP right now. It's holding these levels. Like I said, this is going to be tricky action. All right, we're still at this same point here for the shoulder. Right, so if it traps deep and it reclaims, then it can get going. So if this is one leg, two leg, reclaim and go, that would be really nice for the bull move, but you have to respect what's in front of you right now. Yeah, sorry for those who are like less interested in the macro view. That's just something I'm looking at long term right now, because I'm interested if we get a bull run for 3 or 4 months into the election and then we get a dump. All right, so this looks like it's trapped. This is looking aggressive now for a potential bear trap under here for an upside squeeze. All right, so ideally a little push over here, pull back and go. It might not even give the pullback. It might get very aggressive here. If it's caught enough shorts underneath this internal swing low, it's going to squeeze them out and it's going to have a run at the higher day. Check out ES. You have relative strength on ES. VIX is about to break that neckline and try and come into the gap. If it does that, we are going to squeeze here on the NQ into higher day, into the top of the channel. Looking very, very good now for a squeeze up. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so if you're in this, be careful. Take partials when it starts to steal liquidity. Hold your runners. All right, if it's trapped enough for that big move up, it can expand. If I just want to show you this right here, okay, remember I drew this out on the chart. This is what the line chart looks like. If we get an expansion through here, we can start to really squeeze them out. All right, so you want to see it hold its gains right now. I do not want to see too much of a deep dive to reprice all of this. Ideally, it holds its gains because that will really trap the shorts. Thanks, Don. Yeah, I really appreciate that. The course and community is there for you when you are ready. It's there for you when you're ready. Lots of guys in the stream here have done the course. They will tell you how much it has helped them. Gets them out of bad habits. Nice community to support you even when I'm not around. Okay, so we want to see this pullback hold. Do not want to see this pullback retest the lows of that move, okay? If it retests that lows, we're going to build more and more liquidity. It's why you have to be aggressive on these moves through the liquidity. So it needs to soak here and expand violently now. If it doesn't do that, then we are going to trap volume up here, all right, and it's going to be nasty and attack the low again. So need to see this soak and expand and do it quickly like it is. Close long for 560. Beautiful, beautiful. Well done. Well done. All right, so the trap is looking good. The trap was set underneath this low right here, this internal low. We talked about this, I think, on Friday on stream. Coop asked the question, how do we see traps? Where are they? There's the trap low, there's the squeeze. Now, can it expand higher? That's the question. On the book now, we're looking at 820. We have stops sat at 820. Can it run up into those? Need to see ES get going. VIX is into its gap now, right? It's 1 point under that 1690 we talked about. If you get a flush on the VIX where it goes for a gap fill, this market is going to start moving. It is a big if, but that's what we're looking at. So far, soaking off that 1690 level. Need to see conviction on the VIX into that gap for the market to really start to get going here. So here goes the VIX into the gap very, very slightly. I want to see the VIX start selling aggressively, and I want to see ES expand. It has relative strength, so we want to see ES expand. Apple back to green on the day, trying to approach that 1650. If it can get through that and tech has strength, then we have the chance to come up to the top of the channel. Remember, you must be respecting these channels, okay? We are respecting these channels and these levels of liquidity. Must respect these. Here we go. So you're looking now for a rebase, all right? You're looking for the same kind of structure, all right? You're looking for that, and then this. All right, if we do that, we're seeing the inverse head and shoulders start to play out. You will see the full cup. Okay, remember, this will be your IB high. All right, we're a few seconds away from IB. This would be IB high. So from here, really you want to see a breakout and a hold for a trend day. If it doesn't do it, then what we're going to do, we can attack VWAP and we can attack IB low. All right, and then we're going to be in the same type of play as we had yesterday. If we lack continuation to upside, we are going to be in the same type of day as we had yesterday, where it's going to chop, seek liquidity, create liquidity, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Need to see ES here stay above 727. All right, so initial balance has now printed. You have the ES basically at the initial balance high right now. The ES is at the initial balance high. You will need to see it expand through the initial balance high for NQ to have a chance of upside. If we keep failing up here over and over again, then you're going to have a very normal range rotation day. And as most of you know who've been on stream, I do not love range rotation days. All right, what I really like is very clear trend days. I said it yesterday, I will mainly be waiting to be more aggressive on Thursday. All right, I'll be more aggressive with my positionings on Thursday if it is nice and clear and obvious and we have a nice trend. I don't care if that's going to be for a pullback leg or an expansion leg, but that's what I'm going to be waiting for. So it looks like it is failing. All right. ES coming to that level now for a test. Can it soak here and retest the IB high, or are we about to just roll all the way over back to IB low? So need to see this hold in these blocks for that move for continuation. All right, you'll need to see this do this for that move for continuation, and you must respect here. This is where the sellers have been present all day. You see, every time we come up here, we are selling. Right, so it would be a partial in here, push above, hold above them, so they have to cover, then we get continuation. I know it's tricky action today, team. I know it's choppy. It's what we are expecting the day before FOMC. So if you're not comfortable, don't trade. Right, definitely don't be forcing stuff. Definitely do not be oversizing in this market. All right, it can flush and push very, very quickly. You do not want to be the wrong side of moves in this market if you're oversized, because we have a contracting market where the average true range on the candles, on the daily, on every time frame is getting smaller and smaller. We have the Bollinger Bands getting tighter and tighter. At some point, something will change in the market, and once it picks that direction, it will do it violently. Likely to do it tomorrow, but all I'm saying is don't oversize and make sure you've got your stops in, because you do not want to get run over if you're starting to position. The key for longevity in these markets, the key to good profits, is not to oversize. All right, just don't oversize. You will have days where you are flat, where you have small losses, but some days you will get those runners to go for you. Even 1 or 2 micro contracts, if they start to run for you on a 400-point day, you'll make really, really good profits. You don't need massive size. It's the biggest thing I see a lot of influencers showing people when they're trading using 10 contracts and all this stuff, you're not giving yourself any chance to trade tomorrow, because if you get whipped out on a 40-point flush, that is your trade over. That is your account gone. More chop here then. Still failing these ranges, right? I'm going to delete these. It's going to come and test, all right? Looks like it wants to come back down and test now. So built significant liquidity up here. Just checking the daily now. All right, so point of control is now at about 92, 792 or 788. So we're trading under the POC, which means there's a significant amount of volume here. So everyone currently is trapped in here because we failed to do the move yet. All right, we failed to do that move. So you will have shorts and longs trapped in here. Shorts trying to get the rotation down, longs trying to get the move to IB high. If you're not comfortable, if you're in a position and you're not happy, take that position off. So ES has failed its initial balance high, and it's coming down to the level we said we'd want to see it hold. If ES cannot hold into these 25s, it's going to drive down into VWAP. All right, and if it starts to roll over, it's going to attack that initial balance low. The reason I'm looking at ES is it has relative strength. Nothing really to do here right now, just waiting. All right, so if we roll here, we're going to come back down to the IB low. All right, or at least VWAP. I would want to see this low hold for any bullish continuation. Right now, it's screaming chop day right now. It is absolutely screaming chop day, building liquidity type day. ES right into 25, flushing 25 now, looking like it's going to come to VWAP. So we're going to have weakness here on the Qs. So I mean, very, very tricky in these market conditions. When you don't get the follow through to upside, you have to respect it. So buyers stepped in here before and at the lows. If they get washed, remember to look at that channel of where we can come back down to. All right, look at the channel right here. Here's your channel. If this starts to break, we can potentially go lower. Remember, there is a cash gap fill on the QQQ if it starts to fail. See profit, take profit. Yeah, absolutely. In these market conditions, see profit, take profit until there's an obvious trend. Right, look how this is moving across constantly. And the flow zones, again, they are pretty much, everything is flat. Deep flow zones, deep pullback, the momentum flow zones, lower time frame algo, VWAP, everything very, very close, right? We're within 10, 20 points of each other. That is screaming to you, these are not ideal conditions to try and pick trend. We talked about it yesterday, didn't we? The nice conditions are going to come after tomorrow, which is why I'm going to really wait for Thursday to position myself. So I bounce off VWAP and lower time frame algo for now. So bulls would really need to break out of these levels and get up here. All right, needs to come and get above this really for them to have a shot at anything. not ideal conditions, really not ideal conditions. All right, bear with me. I'm just going to grab a coffee. You should know what you're looking for, okay? If we're going to get bullish control, it is going to come above all these wicks up here, and it's going to drive for that IB high, right? All right, so it looks like it's trying. It is attempting to do that move. If you look at VWAP on the ES, good soak of it. Same on NQ. Again, we are still in range. We are just in range. We're inside the initial balance. There is absolutely nothing here screaming of a good trend day. Understand the type of conditions you are in. You're inside the initial balance. On the daily, we're just above, all right, we're just above Friday. Very, very close. All right, we're near Friday's high. So the better trend will come outside of that 2-day balanced range. If you look at Friday and Monday on the daily, if we can get above that and sustain above that and be above the initial balance and break out of this sort of grindy channel that we made from yesterday's low all the way till now, then potentially we have trend. So always look at the daily, always use the initial balance. It will help you understand what type of trend you're in. Do I see NQ breaking the downtrend on the daily? I see NQ doing whatever it wants to. If we do a 1/4 point cut tomorrow or a 1/2 point cut and ES, SPS and SPY make new all-time highs, then yes, I do see it breaking out that down channel, the trend line on the daily. Whether it can sustain above that is a whole nother question. But yeah, typically, for those that don't know, seasonality, when you come into an election, you normally have a bullish run, right? So normally into elections, you have bullish momentum. So I would not be surprised for the next 8 weeks to have a potential bullish run up when they start cutting. I don't think necessarily that will hold next year. I don't think we're going to go on some monster bull cycle run that everyone thinks we are, but I will trade whatever is in front of me. So I'm happy to be wrong. If we go on a big bull trend, brilliant, because I would love a market where I can wake up every day and press buy. Those are the easiest markets ever. If you've learned to trade this year or in the last year, if this is your first year's trading, you are trading in one of the hardest markets. It's a really hard market to trade in at the moment. Volatility is aggressive. You have, 1,000-point days, 500-point days, 600-point days, and then you have the contraction of 200-point days. So you will have to learn quick to change and adjust your size. There's lots of things to learn if you're trading right now. Every bit of news affects the market. In normal bull markets, you're not watching FOMC and the Fed all the time. It doesn't matter because they're not doing hikes and they're not doing cuts. They're doing very boring speeches which really don't affect the market at all. You're just in a nice bull cycle. So if we can get into one of those, great. But I don't imagine we get into something like that until 2026, 2027. Happy to be wrong. Again, this is just macro outlook. Doesn't affect how I trade intraday. Intraday, I will trade whatever the chart tells me to do, because if you have a bias, let's say I have a bear bias and the market is printing upwards, I'm going to get stuck, aren't I? Trying to short everything because I think it should go downwards. How many times have you said that, especially newer traders, or you heard people say that? Why is it going up? It should be going down. It doesn't matter what it should be doing. You've got to trade what it is doing. That your opinion doesn't mean anything. Market makers institutions are going to send price wherever they want to send it, and you are just trying to get a piece of that move. All right, so potential is having another go at that inverse head and shoulders. 10% survive, yes, well that's the rule, isn't it? 90% fail, 10% survive, 10% survive. Understand that they are just trying to join whatever the big guys want to do. All right, so here we go. Can it pop these stops now? Can we get the push up? All the new guys who have joined me today, thank you for joining. I now stream every day from 10 o'clock market time into lunch, sometimes a bit past through lunch, depending if the setup's there. What you're watching on screen right now is a 1 minute chart, and this is my flow zone momentum indicator. All right, it provides signals, it tells you the trend conditions, it prints all your daily levels and the initial balances and the higher time frame and lower time frame algos. If you want to learn how to use this, if you want to learn how to trade, you can do my course. So this is looking good now. So anyone that's in this for that drive up, think about this liquidity. All right, can we get a move here for a drive up to take out these stops? This is easy resting liquidity, and if it can take that, it can go into the IB high. I am in this long right now. I'm looking for a pop here to take a partial. There we go. All right, so now can we drive through this wick right here through 18? Will take us, should take us near IB high. All right, remember these are all the stops. Respect the initial balance, guys. Respect the initial balance. Take partials into it.
Target
Beautiful.
filled.
Boom. There we go. I've got one left. We are coming into the top of that channel, and I am going to hold this runner now, because if we can get going, we're going to have a great day here. All right. Look how it just ripped through all of that. You would have heard my target field go off. So a base above the initial balance high will see us trend for the day. But I'm very aware of this right now. Remember, this channel here, I'm going to always respect what's in front of me on the chart. I'm always going to respect what's in front of me. So I'm moving my stop up now towards the initial balance high, because I'm up very, very nicely on this trade now. ES looking great, yeah. ES breaking out above the IB high. Right, we keep stalling at this channel. Okay, so if you want to take more profit, you can take profit here. Remember, you can always re-add. If you miss this, if we're going to base above the initial balance high or at the initial balance high, it's going to give you a new opportunity. You've never missed something, so don't chase anything. Really nice trade. That is pretty much me done for the day. That was a super good trade once it retrapped. So now what are we thinking? All right, that's an aggressive move. We want to see the initial balance hold, guys, all right? It might have to come down here, which is really not ideal. But we want to see this kind of area hold and create a new bullish pattern. If you do that, you are going to have trend day up. All right, so we said we will be here. If the trend sets up, we will take it. Guarantee you there is no one else teaching you this stuff right now. Most traders are not looking zoomed out enough. So again, why have we had a slight pause here? Remember this channel, all right? It's really simple. Really, really simple channel, all right? It is respecting it. This is very typical Malaysian style SNR. So profits into that channel. If we start to fail the IB high, then this is going to be a failed auction. So if we start to fail, you do not just buy this, guys. You're going to need a bullish pattern here. Don't get into the habit of buying things at levels like top step, all right? Not going to be complete arsehole, but that's the bad teaching. You need to see it give a pattern. A level is nothing without structure, all right? Because if you buy here and it does that, you're going to be really upset. I trade NVIDIA base on NQ. So you're trading NVIDIA and you're watching the Qs? Is that what you mean, Wes? Or you trade the Qs, you trade NQ and you're watching NVIDIA? And are you trading commons or are you trading options on NVIDIA? Hopefully some of you got that. All right, we laid out the plan before of what we were looking for. All right, this kind of thing here. And it just took a while to build, didn't it? This is where I entered, guys, right here for that move. I was not buying into these down here. I waited. All right, so I joined later, but I joined with conviction. Why did I have conviction? Well, we got buy signal here. And if you look at the flow zones, all right, they started to expand. So we went from sideways to an expansive move. And this is when I know momentum's on my side. All right, so we're holding. Look at the hold of the initial balance high. All right, that magic initial balance high. If we can create a flag here, or if it needs to go deeper and we do a trap here, we can have potential trend day. All right, you don't want to see it sort of just stagflate here and just sit here like this, because if it does that, you can get a failed breakout and a roll over. So you're looking for continuation plays to the bullish side right now if it will set up. If it won't set up, then you need to respect the channel and initial balance high. Again, the channel, you must respect this. If it cannot base the initial balance high and start to get over this, there is the possibility for a failed auction and a dive back down. Does everyone on stream right now understand what I'm talking about? There's 42 of you on stream. I want to make sure you all understand what I'm talking about right now. If this sounds like jargon, let me know. Scott, yes, okay, perfect. Well, Scott, you're doing the course, so you definitely know. Okay, so just respect everything in front of you, be nimble, right? Look right here, bullish. Look how these have started to expand now. See the gap between the deep pullback and the momentum cloud. We didn't have that gap all in here. Trending sideways, this is chop. Created liquidity, all right, had to create liquidity, trapped everyone here, and then got the move. That's why you have to be patient. No problem stopping out. If you took this one early that we talked about, all right, let's say you took this and you didn't get partial off and it came and stopped you out. Who cares? As long as you take that stop, that's good trading. Reward yourself for taking that stop. And then it provided another opportunity. Then you take the same trade again, and this time you got it. You trade NVIDIA shares based on how NQ is moving. Yeah, okay. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, NVIDIA offers massive, massive moves. Why do you... So here is potential failed auction. The reason I wouldn't call this failed auction yet is this is where the shorts are stuck. So it is a zone. If it comes down here and soaks straight back off this, and you get something like this, this will actually be even nicer. But if it fails this, I'm not saying buy down here, I'm saying wait. Wait for that part here, okay? The reason, if you didn't hear me earlier, the reason I talked about this, all right, yes, it is a potential failed auction on the initial balance. But if you think about where shorts are stuck, right, if you are short in here and here and here and here, and you're one of those guys who didn't stop out, you are hoping to get break even here, right? So if they cover here break even and they buy back the market, then we can get the inverse head, and then you can think about the flag or the shoulder up here. If we start to fail this area, okay, if we start to fail this area, then what are we going to get? There's your channel. We're going to come down here, all right? The more you trade, the more you'll start to see everything that I'm looking at before it happens. All right, so there's no head and shoulder, there's no inverse head and shoulder yet, but I know it's what the market will try and create, because that's how liquidity is made. So I'm going to put new structure in here so it's nice and clean for you. This is intraday structure. This is not higher time frame. This is not based on any other chart, but you can see right here is an intraday channel. Okay, this level here where all these wicks are is where shorts got stuck. You need to see it base above that level. If it doesn't base above that level, then buyers are not in control. Really simple. Really simple. Yeah, thanks, Scott. I mean, because the course is quite new, I've tried to keep it fairly cheap. I think it's good value, really good value at what it is. I'll probably put the prices up next year because it's 20 hours. You know, there's other people doing 2-hour courses of crap instruction for $199 with nothing else. A course is really intense. It's a lot to take on. It requires some practice and patience to learn it all. But there's a lot of information there. I've been trading a long time, and hopefully it's good enough to really help traders trade by themselves. Yeah, I'm sure you know all the people I'm talking about. Yeah, Wes, I mean, I wouldn't even call it gut feeling. I'd call it sort of instinctual. You know, once you've done 10,000 plus hours on the screen, your brain knows the patterns before they're there, right? So it's just you've got, if you've done 10,000 hours, Wes, if you're seeing stuff, yeah, feeling for the market, your brain's telling you what's going to happen before it's even happened or while it's happening, rather than waiting for indicators and everything else to catch up. It's just screen time. A lot of new traders, they quit too early, right? You're not going to win straight out the box. You've got to be around. You've got to sit here. You've got to learn, man. I lost loads when I started my career, not understanding. I had bad teachers. I was adding into losers because I thought that's what you did, because that's what my mentor was doing. And it took time to settle down and find my own path and work out what needed to be done. So you can see here, coming into the momentum clouds, or coming into this area where shorts got trapped. Now, I'm not going to call this a pure IB fail yet, all right? Only because of this. It has the potential to be initial balance failed auction. Definitely has that potential, all right? If we keep failing up here, it has that potential. But the only thing I would be concerned about, like we talked about, the grey box here is where the shorts got stuck. So I'm just observing structure as much as I am rules. So yes, normally underneath initial balance, we would be thinking about a rotation back to VWAP and back to the IB low. The only reason I'm thinking potentially otherwise is just because of where these guys are stuck. That is the only reason. But on a normal day, all right, if all these people were stuck at the IB high and we did this, we'd already be thinking about a short rotation, because buyers are potentially stuck up here. These buyers who got long, we retested them, they got out, they're selling. It does look like the potential to sell, but I know these guys are also stuck, and there's a lot of volume there. So I'm not in anything right now, I'm just watching. If it starts to play out where these buyers are stuck and these shorts already exited on that pop, we will have a rotation lower. Right, we can confirm this by looking at an H1 chart, by looking at where volume is. Right, we're still above point of control on the day. Value area high at 82. The biggest volume on the day is printed around 84. Sorry, so value area high is sort of around 820, and point of control currently is around 785, something like that. All right, so if buyers don't step up here, all right, we're going to come and test this lower channel, and then we're going to be thinking about rotation. So at the moment now, it's starting to look like a failed auction. So if we start to do this, there's your VWAP, there is the IB low, here is resting liquidity. But structure-wise, if you ignored all the initial balances, all right, this area is key. So is it just going to hold this and do a channel move? These are all the things I'm thinking about in my head all the time. Constantly. I know it's probably really annoying. I'm looking at this, and then I'm looking at this, I'm looking at this. That's how you have to trade. If you are fixated on one move, right? Let's say you were fixated on this IB high for a pullback long, and you were just going to trade that, and you got conviction that you're going to trade that, even though it never gave you a reason to trade it. All right, you are now in a hole because you got convinced it was going to be a long, and it's still trading down. Have to be adaptable in the market. Be flexible. Trade what it's presenting. All right, so we are underneath these stops. Okay, so shorts are very much in control right now because we are underneath these stops. It did just pull back bang on that 618 of this pivot. So it could be a cover point here for those who took short on rotation into golden zone. If we start to fail these levels, if we start to fail this channel, we're going to get dig down. Again, remember we said respect the charts. We never got a close on the 5-minute above that channel. This channel has been present since yesterday. This is off the low from yesterday. We have respected it the whole session. All right, all of New York, all of Asia, all of London, and today's New York session. We are currently respecting this channel. So this is why we didn't get long. It gave us no signal. We were thinking about the long, but it didn't give us a signal. Shorts are very much in control here. We have a failed auction. We are now back at VWAP. So anyone who did not wait is stuck. Big flushes. Remember earlier we talked about you must use hard stops for these reasons. So anyone who got stuck there got slammed. If we move over, where are we approaching to? We're approaching to the bottom of that channel, right? We're approaching the bottom of that channel. So do they re-soak it or do we start to break down? Because on the lower time frame, we've already broken the intraday channel. So if we start rejecting VWAP, if we start rejecting that 5-minute channel, we can rotate to the IB low. This is your build of liquidity. All right, we used some of it for swing upside. Can we use some of it for swing downside and target this? It's exactly why when we take a trade, all right, when we were long in this, we take some off on all pushes through liquidity levels. Okay, you don't know how high it's going to go. You can use lots of things like standard deviations and fib projections, but truthfully, you do not know how high it's going to go. So you must lock some in and then just let runners work. Reflushing now, heavy against VWAP now, ES at VWAP. If you look at the VIX, what did we do on the VIX? We gap filled, we soaked off that gap fill. All right, and now we have reclaimed 17. So we did the whole gap fill that I talked about on stream at the beginning of the stream. If those are just joining, we talked about it in the room this morning. We filled that gap on the VIX and now we're trading back inside the range. That means on the VIX, all right, an inverted head and shoulder on a 10-minute chart from the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days range is still possible. It's still possible on the VIX. Everything making sense here, guys? I should stop saying that, shouldn't I? Not very woke. Everything making sense here, team. I'll try and get in the habit of saying that. Good, good, good. All right, so these are starting to turn now. So the question is, are we going to reject here? Does it need to do deeper? And then do we get continuation? There's definitely a heaviness in the market to the upside. All right, so there's definitely all pushes up. If you've looked at, do you know what? Let's go to the M5 channel for you to see this. It's easier. Every time, all right, we're approaching the top of these channels, we are selling off to the bottom. Top of the channel, selling off to the bottom. Top of the channel, sold off to the bottom, soaked off it, drove all the way up, and now we're selling back down, okay? This is just range rotational plays, right? There is money to be made here intraday, but you have to be adaptable. Elliott waves, Michael. I don't use Elliott waves. I do always look for like 2-leg pullbacks. I really like 3-leg pushes and failures, but I'm not counting like 1, 2, 3 ABCs for Elliott waves. Doesn't mean they don't work. It's just not how I trade. I used to trade like that, but not anymore. All right, so here is your drive down. Again, this is intraday channel. If I take this off, if you go to that 5-minute chart, we are still respecting that 5-minute channel from yesterday. All right, we have not got underneath this. Be aware of where you are on the higher time frame. So here's your drive back for a reprice. Are they going to now sell into this move? All right, are they going to create a lower high? That's your 50% tag into momentum, repricing some of this move down. So are they going to resell this now for this? That's the question. This would be your first bounce short. Okay, so really these are tiny moves there, there, there. You'd be looking to take that out if you take this short. Bigger players have bigger tolerance on price movement. Yeah, of course they do. Well, they're positioned with size, but they're massive accounts. Friend of mine back home now trades his old book. He was at Morgan Stanley before being at Standard Bank. You know, I spoke to him probably last month, and he was in $2 million drawdown on one position on copper, and he didn't care at all. It was literally nothing to him. You know, they have huge tolerance because they're looking for really big moves, and they're looking to dollar cost average, as Apex would say, but it's not. They're looking to position at key areas. Okay, so this is looking very good now for continuation, isn't it? That's the bear flag off the pullback, off the imbalance. There's your sell signal. You need continuation, looking for a break of structure. If it fails to break this low, shorts are going to get trapped and we're going to rotate up. But for now, you should be thinking about short continuation on the lower time frame. You should be thinking about this move on the lower time frame, trying to come and take this out. If we take that out, we have a chance to move quite a long way down, because the Qs have a cash gap fill on the QQQ down to 73.35, and we're currently trading at 75.81. Again, you have to respect that channel that we're in though. 5-minute channel, you can put it on your chart. Thank you for everyone joining. Been streaming just over a week now. Views are going up every single day. It's fantastic. If you want to learn how I trade, if you want to have this indicator, there is a course available right now. Nightbot is posting the link, or you can grab it underneath. It's a 20-hour course. You get access to the Discord. You get access to this indicator, which is for my students only. Okay, so thinking about a bear flag here, it must, if you're taking this, you must respect these levels. Okay, must respect these levels for continuation down. This was a nice entry here on a pop into flow zones for continuation. It is built liquidity. You need to see this break down and roll over. If it doesn't do that, if it fails to break the structure right here, then shorts are going to get trapped. Right, we talked about it yesterday on stream. The best squeezes will always happen when one side is trapped, and that always happens when you get a failed breakout. That includes downside, failed breakout, failure to take this out will trap shorts playing this, and then we squeeze up. That doesn't mean you're long right now. You should be thinking short right now. Okay, but if we do this, then we're going to think about a long rotation back to here. Right, these are the only intraday plays it's offering right now. It's not offering trend. Why is it not offering trend? Because we are between the two, but I would expect this to try and roll, but we are right on lower time frame algorithm and VWAP, so it is tricky. You are mid-range, but structure-wise, there are stops down here. We did sweep this, so if they come in here and hold, then we'll do a W, and you can think about a rotation back up then and then only. Been here since day one. Yes, you have. You have, OX64. Thank you. So hopefully, even if you've not made money today, all right, hopefully you've learned. I took this trade here for a push up, and I had a short earlier with my room before stream, which was here. It was a small short back down. underneath previous day close, and we covered here. So 2 for 2 on the day, and now I am just patient. There was a potential short here, but I didn't like it because of these stops. All right, so it didn't fit what I wanted because of these stops. It's the only reason. Normally I would take that play if structure was different. If, for example, we did a base here and then a squeeze up like this, and then we did this failure, I would take this short because I can target down here, right? I have enough risk reward, but because this pattern here is all the way up here, it doesn't offer great risk reward to here, does it? It's probably a 1-to-1. So there was no play there for me to take. Right, so you're still thinking, is this a bear flag or are they gonna trap? For me, it's a bear flag until it proves otherwise. If it starts taking out these pivot highs, it can start squeezing up. Another no trade day for me. Well, that's absolutely fine. That's fine. We're inside initial balance. If you are, you know, a trend trader, then you can just wait. Coop in chat is a very, very good trend trader. All right, Coop in chat, he likes to take pullbacks for very clear trend trades, and he's very good to the upside, I would say. He's a very good bullish trader. All right, so he knows he's much better at waiting. So we've been working on Coop playing to his strengths. When he has those days which trend, he tends to make an awful lot of money. It doesn't mean he can't trade anything else. He's very good at other stuff, but we've talked about in chat playing to your strength. I like the same things. I love trend plays. I've had to really focus on that. So again, maybe I should just leave these in here for you. All right, can it fail this kind of move here? If I put this old trend in, we are probably right underneath it. Yeah, there or thereabouts. So you need to see rejections here for a rollover back down. There is liquidity here, but we've really already used it. So if you start to drive up here, I wouldn't be thinking about shorts because it can just as easily do that at that point. Very tricky conditions. We talked about that the last few days. Very, very tricky conditions right now coming into FOMC tomorrow. The market will want to trap and build liquidity. Intraday scalping is your jam on ES. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. OMZ Capital, if you know what you're strong at, stick to it. Don't try and do anything else. If you make profit doing one thing, that's all you need. That is all you need. You don't need 3, 4, 5 different types of plays. You just need to know one thing you're good at and do it well and ignore everything else. If you're a reversal trader, just trade reversals. If you're initial balance rotation, just trade those days. You don't need to be a quarterback in the market. You really don't. You don't need to see absolutely everything. You need to see your play and execute it every single time it sets up. It's definitely a big mistake, especially newer traders make. They try and learn every single thing at once. There's a lot to learn, as in every single trade. I think the easiest trades to learn are pullback trades to start with. Very, very simple kind of logic, and there's lots of ways you can get into those trades. You can use EMAs, you can use anchored VWAPs, you can use trend lines, and you can have very fixed risk reward, and you can add to winners easy. So I think if you're a newer trader, that's probably a good place to start. So I'm looking at the H1 here because we are in a new H1 candle the last 10 minutes. All right, and if you look at the last few candles on the H1, we have clear resistance where we keep stuffing everything above 97. So might as well call it 800. Everything above 800 we keep stuffing into. When I say stuffing, I mean we can't break through and hold. Everything through that is failing and coming back down. So if I just bring the H1 chart up for you. All right, so all these candles up here keep failing, don't they? They keep failing, but we are in trend up. on an H1, but we keep failing up here. If we can base up there, it means there's lots of stops up here. If we keep failing this S&R level, right, this close open level, if we come up here and fail, that would concern me for further rotation down. We are inside right now, value area, we are inside initial balance. There is no trend to be had currently on the day. As I say to my room, I am a stuck record. I know I keep repeating myself, but new people are turning up to the stream every single day, every single minute, and it's really, really important that you understand the structure. I can sit here and joke around like, oh, shall we take 150 contracts short here because Dakota thinks it's a level, or I can teach you how to actually trade. Up to you guys. Just catching up with the chat now. Yeah, OX64, whenever you're ready, bud. Join the team whenever you're ready. No pressure on anyone here either. There's lots of education for free on your YouTube if you're starting out, if you don't have much budget. Great stream. What platform am I using? How do you mean, what am I executing trades on? Currently, I'm executing trades on NinjaTrader. I am a fan of Top Step TV, actually, and I actually think a lot of the traders there are good. I just think that house account thing is stupid, and I think the leaderboard is also stupid, and I'll tell you why. The house account has too many cooks in the room, and I've said it to them before. Calling a level does not mean you take a trade, right? You need a setup at that level, and in terms of like leaderboard and all this stuff, all that does is encourage traders to oversize. It is you versus you. It doesn't matter how much money I've made or someone else has made. You need to trade your setups and make money that you're happy with and nothing else. All right, this here is starting to look a little bit bullish. If they're going to start rerunning this and getting above, we can think about trend up again. Not into it yet. We're still flat. So yeah, I think the whole like competitive nature of trading is very, very dangerous. It can get you thinking that what you're achieving is not enough. We talk about it in the community a lot. You get money dysmorphia. Let's say you traded 20 accounts today, all right, and you only made $50 each account. Only. It's $2,000. Why should you sit there and think that's not good money? That's great money. That's $500,000 a year. But because you've seen someone on Top Step have a good day where they've taken 15 contracts through data and held it and ended up making 100 grand. Like that, when they had Danny trades on like months ago, I mean, that guy's a straight degenerate gambler who doesn't know what he's doing. But by printing what he's made on the day, you're encouraging other traders to take positions way too big. Do I have my own custom indicators for Sierra Chart? I don't, Hal, I'm sorry. I don't have anything for Sierra Chart. Maybe I should look into it, but I use NinjaTrader and TradingView. All right, so look at this squeeze up. So they caught, remember we said if they fail to take out this break of structure, they might catch people. We've triggered above now. So does this hold or do we reclaim? And if we reclaim, there is the liquidity. All right, so the same pattern, head, shoulder, right shoulder. Same pattern over and over and over again. Where is the liquidity? How do we use it? Here is the liquidity at the highs, which means shorts have their stops up here. Here is the liquidity at the lows. God, I'll be able to talk in a minute, which means bulls have their stops here. So if we can do some type of pattern here or here, then we have a potential move up. If it needs to build more, it's going to drive back down and then do this and then do this. For me to be interested in a pullback, I'd need to see all these start to curl back up and support price action. Right now they're flat because we're inside initial balance. And if you think about like an M5, we could just reject here for the first pullback, right? We could reject here and then go down. So that's why I'm going to wait. $815 resistance. Yeah, I mean, just check. If you check out an M5 chart, it's the same kind of level we talked about on the H1. So if we come to here, all right, we've repriced that candle. If we think about this here, this is supply, right? This right here. So we came and tapped it. This is where we found sellers. So if this is going to be first leg, pullback, second leg, it's going to happen here, which is why I'm saying we would need to see liquidity up here where we use this to get bullish. I'm not interested in just taking a pullback down here right now. Because if we do this and it holds and does a bullish sign, yes, you could take that, but this is an obvious buy at this point for a rotation up. And I want to take the obvious plays where I know one side is stuck. Even if it's a price that's higher, as long as I know one side's stuck, I know that we have the potential, all right? Even if I take it here or here, then I know everyone else, every short's out the market, they're stuck, so we have the potential to go upside. If I just keep trying to take a buy here, all right, I don't know that shorts are stuck here because I know that the bulls are here and I know all my flow zones are flat. There's nothing to say that we then don't do this move. So I'm not interested so much in that pullback play there. Thanks, Scott. I don't know how cockney I am. I mean, I am from London, East London, and for anyone that's in the chat that's from London. I live in Los Angeles now. And luckily I've hung on to my accent because I don't want like a bloody LA Valley accent. That's got to be the worst. Sorry, the sun is starting to come in through my office now. Take a trade. I'm mad scared. I've already taken 2 trades and made money. I'm not mad scared. I'm waiting for a setup to be exactly what I want. That's not mad scared. That's good trading. If you want to go and hammer those keys, you go for it, mate. Nice, Wes. Always some troll who thinks no better. It's hilarious. Yeah, I don't do the whole F thing. I pronounce my TH properly. Yeah, it's all right. We're bound to get trolls. It's normal. Would love to see his position. Hopefully he's long now getting slaughtered. And there we go. And that's why we don't just buy this pullback, mad scared guy. All right? London. Nice, Merrick. Where in London? All right, so slam back down to lower time frame algo VWAP. All right, and same people here, same sellers that came in on that M5. All right, so we're stuck currently. The reason we're less interested is we have a lack of alignment. M1 bid up and it only bid up to where sellers came in on an M5 and the H1 for a reprice. All right, so you have 0 alignment right now. Look up here. You have no alignment and you're inside initial balance. All right, so we do not know if we want to do breakdown and M5 starts to align. If we do that, that's going to need H1 pressure to come downside. Or if they want to re-soak here and hold and then do the move. And I'm said very clearly, I will join upside if and when it can show me it's ready. Kingston, yeah, I know Kingston well. I used to go to Brunel University, so I used to go out there back in the day. Oceana and the works. I mean, that's a long time ago. I'm almost 40 now. From Hounslow, live in Florida. Nice. Yeah, I know Hounslow as well. All right, so redrive down here, repricing. If they are going to take control on this M5 and H1, this is their first area of liquidity. All right, I will also join this short side if it's going to prove itself to me. But right now, if we just think about a fib, we are just balanced. And move this to 1 and move this up. All right, this is mid-range. There is absolutely nothing here other than getting people who are impatient and think you should take a trade. There's nothing here, is there? What is here to do? Not a lot, other than become liquidity, become someone else's pet for the day, and give all your money back. The easy trade we already took. This was the easy, obvious trade for the raid, which we took. And before stream, we took a very easy short. So Snooker Pro, how do you love Florida? How long have you been there for since you left Hounslow? ES still soaking off VWAP. Very, very similar. 24 years. Wow, amazing. I only moved here just before COVID. So I was in Leighton, and I was in London for basically my whole life. So I've been here almost 5 years now. 0864 Florida as well. Seems to be a lot of traders in Florida. Nice tax breaks. Much better than here. So a resoak off that same level for now, a resoak off that same level. H1 is just fighting. You have long wicks both sides on H1. We are right at point of control. There is nothing clean and obvious to do right now. I'm in a place called Playa Vista, so it's right next to Marina del Rey, Santa Monica, Venice, basically all around there. I'm right by the beach. So if they're going to sell this now, then they're going to use this kind of structure here and get stuck here, and then they can attack these lows. Again, they will need a break of structure here. If they don't get that, shorts will get trapped, and we're going to go again for an IB high. This is the game right now that they're playing on a very low time frame. We are just stuck, and we are expecting this. Oh, here. Sorry, didn't realize it was on that chart. Okay. If they're going to do this, they need to break this to come down and run these lows. If they fail to do that, you're going to get the same move where they fail to break down and shorts get stuck. We are above VWAP for now, and we're just hanging around it. Very, very probable, very choppy day today, like we've talked about, until Wednesday. All right, so they are just positioning for tomorrow. Apple back red on the day again. Everything else green. Want to see if sellers really want to step in here. Looking at the H1 chart, nothing clear and obvious. Everything is just stuck in a range here. Everything's stuck in a range. And it's tight. It is a tight range. Even from this pivot, this lower time frame pivot, 1.5 down to VWAP, 72, is 40 points. It's not a lot here. I like to trade when there's 100, 200 points on the table, ideally to hold those runners, which make me money. All right, so potential break of structure here. See if they are going to roll this back down, or if they're going to roll it back down to here. And then higher time frame, well, not even higher time frame, but for the day, you will have a, if we're thinking about fractal, right, bigger move, this move inside of that, and neckline effectively into this level. What time do I start trading? In Pacific Coast time, 7 a.m. Well, I live stream from 7 a.m. I'm at my desk from 5:30. It's the worst thing about being California is the early starts, and the best thing is that you're done early. But it is brutal. All right, so here we go, starting to have downside pressure now. All right, so it will target these lows. It will want to target these lows, but you will need to see ES start to break down from VWAP. Don't have alignment. Yeah, Labisk, like 5 a.m. is fine, right, in the summer, but like this morning I got up and walked my dog. I came to the market and then walked my dog before 6 a.m. and it's still dark outside. That's brutal. In the summer I don't mind because it's light. So a wash here, you would need to see it take out these lows and have conviction. And if we're going to have trend day short would be a full completion of, oh, come on, man. A full completion of this under IB low and pressure down. But just remember, higher time frame algo is here. Blue line is your 5-day moving average. And this right here will be previous day open. So that would be target. To get to previous day, oh, sorry, that would be PDC actually, previous day close. To get to those levels, we'll almost get back to the QQQ close, which would be the gap fill. So the cash gap on the Qs will take you down to 473.35-ish. All right, so if it's going to fail that, 473.35-ish on the QQQs for a cash gap fill or a settlement fill, whatever you want to call it. Yes, still at VWAP. It is still at VWAP. Right in the middle of range right now. So here we go, flush back down. These are your targets. If you are taking this short side, if you took this breakdown, these are your first targets. Then here, and then IB low down here. And then hold a runner for a cash gap fill. All right, any questions? Lots of new people keep popping into stream. Any questions? Let me know if you need help with anything here. So if we start breaking these lower levels, you can expect a run to PDC and IB low, and then you can think about the cash gap. If you don't know what the cash gap is, there is a free video on my YouTube on gaps. Okay, and I talk about the importance of the cash gap and the settlement gap on the ETFs. It is as important, if not more important, than the futures. Looks like there's quite a few of you in chat from rooms that you've maybe not been happy with before. Don't worry, that is very, very normal. We've all been there, all joined rooms we thought were good, and the guy can't teach and you learn bad habits. I did exactly the same when I started trading. Actually, the first trader I learned off was very, very good. I don't think he's a great teacher, but he's very, very smart. And I probably struggled to understand, whereas I totally understand what he means now. But at the time, he was trading off a very set pattern. And after a year or two of trading with him, that stopped working as we got into COVID, because the market started extending way, way past normality of standard deviations on higher time frames. So I started getting smacked around, and then I started researching, looking for new people to learn from, and that's when I started learning really bad habits and had to retrain myself. Okay, so we are making lower lows here, lower highs, lower lows on the lower time frame. I'm expecting a wash of these levels now. ES still at VWAP. ES is holding up very, very well here, but I'm expecting us to come and steal some of this liquidity down in 43. If we start to slam that, we're going to see 33 and very quickly a rotation down to 10. So this looks like it's playing out now, doesn't it? This sort of big head and shoulders looks like it's playing out. So if you took this breakdown on this flag after this sell, think about some partials into here, because from this point, it's offered you 30, 40 points. You can take a partial and then hold into these next levels and then hold a runner. Hold a runner in case we go into trend day short underneath the IB low. The old value area high would take us all the way back to 680. And 665. So you have potential here if they're going to reposition and take profits into lunch before FOMC tomorrow and walk away for the day. You have potential here. We always think about if ors. So right now we are respecting this like we talked about, looking for this, and if it does this, right, then we're going to use this liquidity. All right, so we're always building liquidity to be used later. It doesn't need to be used today. They can use it tomorrow. Like I said, the last 2 days, they have been building liquidity for a reason. Yeah, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, all that shit that everyone talks about that I never say. But help me out, do me a favor. I've only been live streaming this for just over a week now, but I'm here every day for free, calling the market as I see it. So on a line chart, if you are not sure, this is what we're looking at. All right, it's the same thing. Liquidity was built here. We broke under that structure, came back up, swept above. Now looking for a lower low and a lower high, and then we're going to come into this. And then on the Qs, when you can think about what I'm talking about, this, all right, is the previous day close on the QQQ. This is the cash close. So we have potential for a gap fill on the QQQ all the way down to here. All right, on the QQQ. So those that swung puts on the Q are currently out of money. If we get down there, they're going to cover break even minus, you know, time decay. Okay, so just continue to look for lower prices here while we're in bearish momentum down, covering on every breaker structure that you get downside. Remember where we are, all right, just remember where we're positioned in this channel. We're coming towards the lower side of the channel. If that starts to snap, all right, then you have all these Asia London levels, which basically take us down for that gap fill, all right? So if you think about it, if you are participating overnight as a buyer, you're in the money, in the money, in the money, in the money. We held above, you added, sold some, all right? This is where they are all based. Can we come and take them out? That's the big question for the gap fill move on the QQQ. Everyone following still? Anything I need to go over? So just looking for short continuation patterns for downside pressure. Should not be thinking about any longs right now. When would we think about longs? If it becomes clear, right? If it becomes clear, then we can think about longs. Even in here, you can get traps. Why I'd rather long once I know all the shorts are absolutely stuck. That's why I'm being very, very patient today. Already got the 2 plays I needed. One play, one good play is all you need every day to make money. You only need one good play. Do I say cash gap of SPY and QQQ have more weight than ES and NQ? Yeah, I think they matter more because your close on the ES and NQ and the NQ will happen at 5 o'clock, right, before we have that hour break. But that cash gap is where they're settling options and everything, which is why you get that volume spike in MOC. All the imbalances priced off on those last 10 minutes. So that last 10 minutes is them settling anything that they want to take overnight or don't want to take overnight, and that matters for me. So let's say like they took a short, let's say institutions were short overnight for some reason, and we've gapped up and run up, right? If they're setting their break-even point as their cover to get out, then we're going to close that gap, right? We're going to come all the way down to that. So yeah, I do care about it on QQQ and SPY. No worries, Coop, no worries. All right, so anyone who's not following what I'm saying on the cash gap, after this stream, go and check out the video on YouTube on gaps, all right, and make it very, very clear. It is effectively, for you SMC traders, a new day opening gap, but it is based on the ETF. So you're still looking for lower prices here. There is no reason to be trying to guess the bottom here. You're looking for lower prices. We are in a sell and we are in a liquidity build zone. We will be in a liquidity build zone from the lower time frame algo to the higher time frame algo. This here is where the market will want to build liquidity. Once it fails outside of these ranges, we can think, if they're in alignment, about trends. You should be looking for lower prices until it tells you otherwise. So just look for structures that offer you downside pressure, right? Pullback structures for downside pressure. Don't chase the downside move. Yeah, be patient. That's right. Where's be patient? Okay, so there you go. There's a run on liquidity. So if you took that, that was your TP1. Remember we said obvious level. So it's closing that. This is effectively a giant neckline, right? A giant neckline. So everyone started covering into that. This is what we talked about. It's where buyers stepped up. It's where the liquidity was. That was a TP1, right? So you should be holding now some size for a potential run. This is PDC on the NQ and the IB low. So these are the next levels. And then through that, we have deeper possibilities. Again, check your channel on the high time frame. We are right at it, right? We came right the way down to that channel. That liquidity was sat on that channel. If it holds this again, then they try and rotate again. It's the same play over and over and over again. All right, this is basically one big range. Just look at this. This is one, it's not even a big range. This is just one range. And when we get outside of ranges, we get expansive moves, because if everyone's trapped in here, because they're not being patient, because they're button pushing, because they're not being scared, all right, when we get outside of that, you get a big move. Same to the upside, or you get a spring effect where we fake breakdown and then we go the other way, which is what we had here at the start of this range, but we've built a lot more liquidity now. Just be aware of tapering. If we start to taper, if we start to do this and this and this and this, long COVID is almost gone. Those who've been here the last week and a bit, you will notice I've almost stopped coughing completely now. So value area low here basically the low of this H1 at 43. So under that, we can have potential downside. I'm looking at the H1 here for those levels. So into 77-ish, something like that on the H1, all right, to where we based out all the way down to 62. If it's really going to get ready to snap. Do I think it's going to do that? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I'm not going to predict a move like that in the market. It has potential to do it. It has potential to chop all day. My thesis coming into this week was a pullback Monday, Tuesday. We didn't really do it. We just chopped. So it hasn't even needed to reprice lower to trap shorts in on a higher time frame. If you look at the daily, we've not really dug down. We held the 5-day, 5 days now across the 20-day, and we're basing above. While all the time we're doing this, right, all the time we're doing this in the charts on higher time frames, the Bollinger Bands are doing this, right? So when the Bollinger Bands get tight, when we get close 5-day 20, when we compact and tighten range, exactly what I just talked about, we will get an explosive move out of it. When it's ready, when it's built enough people in, we get explosive moves out of it. If you use something like a TTM squeeze indicator on a higher time frame, I'm sure that is showing you that soon enough we are going to squeeze, right? Based on stochastics and Bollingers. Just basic principles of market. Just think about a spring being this big and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and held there for ages with all this pressure. At some point, they're going to let go of one side of that, and that spring is going to go massive. That's where we are starting to go towards in the market. So still thinking about lower prices here. All right, it's trying to taper a little bit, but we have lower lows here. So once it gets above this, then maybe there's a counter trend back up for a rotational play. Until that point, you should be thinking about shorts. Okay, so we have swing point, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. If we take these out, then maybe we go upside, and then we're thinking about swing points very simply. So once we washed that, they have not pushed us down, so now we're starting to trigger squeeze longs. So you'll need to see it base above and start to do this play. Again, range rotation. Not much on the book today. All right, there's not much liquidity being provided in terms of size up or down. There's a 51 lot up at 875, and that is about it, and a 40 lot down at 650. Nothing else of interest. Squeeze your bread and butter. Yeah, well, like if you're, I think OMC Capital, you the one that was saying you were scalping ES. Was that your thing? So this is the start of squeeze now, right? Squeeze back up because shorts got trapped, right? We tapered, like we talked about. These were the highs once we got above that. If we can base now, all right, the same thing we talked about 20 minutes ago. This will be a liquidity build. This liquidity here, this liquidity here, this liquidity here. Can it get above and base, run back up, run back up? That is all the game is today, guys. When we're inside of initial balance, the game is to build liquidity, seek it, and then it's about how we react to it and use it. On a 5 minute, this can still be a new leg down, right? On a 5 minute, the swing points are much bigger. So on a 5 minute, it would just look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they'd be looking for 5 down here. Yeah, so like, yeah, if you're scalping ES, squeezes are beautiful because you can play counter trend, right? You could counter trend that for a squeeze up, take a scalp on ES, that probably provides 5 points or 3 points or something. So it makes sense why you like them. All right, so for now, just retesting that deep pullback. Can we fail here? Is there structure? Are the 5-minute traders going to come in and force back down? You've got 10 minutes until a new H1 bar, or are they going to get stuck at these lows and we're going to use this again? I'm chilling right now because I made my money. So I'm calling out what I'm seeing. If I see something I really like, I'm going to take it, but I made my money on 2 trades this morning. Do not need more than that. These are the market conditions where if you're impatient, you will get chopped up. You will take break even, 1R, 2R down, etc., etc. And before you know it, you've run your costs up. And then the next day you come in and you're pissed off. So that's why I'm just very, very relaxed right now trading this. Don't be one of those guys who's hammering buttons, all right? Wait for the setup, wait for it to prove it, then take it. And make sure there's good risk reward. I talked about it at the weekend. If you don't know where your exit is, you shouldn't be entering that trade. Look at the higher time frames. We are still just holding it, aren't we? Hey, what's going on with my mouse? We're still just holding this level. So if we break down, we can have the move. Right, if we break down, if this was a liquidity grab and we break down, we can still have that move. Right, if the swing point higher time frame, 5 minute, for example, is not even higher time frame, but it's higher than the one, is like this, then we can still have that move. You must respect the initial balance when we come into it. Doesn't mean you take all your profit, but if we come into it, you must be taking something off. If they base here and they hold, this is where shorts were trapped. If they hold this, then this is where we get that potential move that we talked about. So come back up to these levels. All right, this is your range on the day. Anything outside this range right now is being a failed auction. So really for the day, you've got 130 point range, which on NQ is tiny when you think we've been having 500, 600, 700 point days fairly regularly. No worries, Scott. Yeah, egos will be the death of you. If you're trading with your ego, you're gonna get slammed, man. The market will humble you very, very quickly. Am I the best trader out there? Absolutely not. There are traders out there far, far better than me. But I know my strategy, I know what I'm looking at, and I'm trading that and not outside of that, not beyond that. If you've made money on trades that I haven't taken, that's fine. Like, I'm absolutely buzzing for anyone that makes money. There's so much room in this market. You don't need to be competitive against other people. There's room for everyone to make money in the market. This whole hatred thing is bizarre to me. Right, here's your tapering, guys. We are tapering here. If they hold this and they want to seek and use this and this, then maybe trend up this afternoon. Until that point, we are likely maybe to do this, maybe to do this and chop. The likelihood of a trend up today or a trend down today was small. Coming into the room this morning, we were saying very, very unlikely that we get a trend day today. As we approached this, there was potential for it, wasn't there? There was potential for it, but it failed. Failed the auction here, traded back inside. If you really think about it, what have we really done today? We've traded from created initial balance low, traded up, traded to VWAP, traded to IB high, traded to VWAP. Didn't even get to IB high, traded to VWAP. Haven't got to IB low, traded to VWAP. So really, when you think about the majority of range on the day is from 810 to 755, 60 points. That is shite. That is absolute shite. So why trade that? You know, you're just gambling if you're trading that. You're asking the market to come and take your money. Don't trade that. Know when to trade, guys. Like, you do not need to be trading every day, every session, every setup. It's absolutely fine to not trade and just be chill and wait. Being in the market is like a sniper. Okay, we used to say that when we're trading small caps. You have to be a sniper. You have to be accurate. You don't want to be going in with a AK into a room blasting it everywhere, all right? That's not how to trade the market. So you have 7 minutes until a new hourly bar. Check out the hourly bars. Do they look good? Ask yourself, do these hourly bars present something nice right now? For me, I would say no. Tight range, lots of wicks on the bottom, lots of wicks on the top. This H1 bar, unless we get expansion in the next 6 minutes, is going to close inside of the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. Nothing clean and obvious for me to want to do. Really sorry if it's making the stream more boring, all right? But I will only trade what's in front of me. I'm trying to force good habits into people. So again, 5 minute, if the 5 minutes going to sell, it needs to sell through this 1 minute flag. If they pin this and hold it, then we have the possible expansion up. You're coming into lunch. The volume is already crap today. It's going to get worse, all right? It's going to get worse into lunch. Yeah, Michael Sunger, just wait for the big and obvious moves. That's exactly right. Right, markets will trend. They will provide obvious moves, whether that's intraday or on higher time frames. If you do the course, you'll know. I think you might already be doing the course. The best moves happen pro-trend, right? If the daily's bullish, if the H4 is bullish, if the H1 is bullish, if the M15 is bullish, if the M5 is bullish, you better be thinking about bullish moves, because it means every trader on every single time frame is bidding the market up. That's when you want to play. That's when you want to get in with some size and let it work. Same the other way around, right? If everyone's short, if everyone's a bear, that's when you want to get in. I'm not looking at this market or the daily or the hourly right now and seeing alignment. Yes, Jerry, patience is everything. Patience is everything in this business. You force your opinion on the market, you force your play on the market, it will teach you a lesson. Okay, so VWAP holding for now. ES did just reject VWAP, and you do have the VIX reclaimed 17. All right, so it filled the gap and it's now trading back upside. So again, looking at this for continuation downside, if it reclaims, this is the liquidity pool that it will want to use. This is all intraday. Nothing higher time frame. You are inside the channel. You're inside that channel there. That channel has been present since yesterday's low, right? This is not just today. This is a very clear channel that they set from 10:30. This is from the initial balance basically yesterday. They set this channel and pinned it in this channel. So ask yourself, right? Just think about this. If tomorrow wants to be dirty, right, let's say we stay inside this channel. Let's think about price action, all right? If tomorrow is going to be bullish but wants to be dirty, what's it going to do? See ya. It's going to do that. It's going to snap all these guys, make them all cry, stop them out, buy back the market when they stop out, and then run high. That's why it's building liquidity. Candy Cane, see you tomorrow. I think I've said that right. Hopefully I have. Hopefully you had a decent day. Gonna hang around for a few more minutes. I'll wait for that H1 candle to print into lunch, and then I will likely call it a day. All right, I had 2 good trades. That's all I needed today. hopefully those here have learned something. It's the most important thing. Not only making money, but are you going to be 1% better for tomorrow? Have you learned something? What have you learned? I'd love to know in chat. What is your takeaway from this session? What have you learned that you maybe didn't know before you joined the stream today? Or what have you learned since you've been watching me the last week? What's helped you? Still stuck underneath VWAP, all right? We're still stuck there. ES the same, still stuck. VIX does look like it wants to push upside. So if it can push through 16, it can rotate further up. Thank you, Labisk. Very kind. I'm glad the YouTube channel's helping you. Michael, you don't have to trade everything. Yeah, great takeaway. DJ, I learned valuable patience is key. Yes, patience always key. Patience in the market is key. Really easy way to think about having patience in the market. If you set yourself a daily stop loss of, say, let's just say it's $500, and you take 3 trades which are not good and obvious, and you're already at $400 or $450 of drawdown on the day, you're not leaving yourself any margin to play that trade when it sets up and it's good and obvious. You've got no margin to play it with, and not only that, you will be emotionally exhausted. So there's a chance you won't take it because you're scared at that point, and you're burnt out and you've had enough. So just wait. Just wait. If trade inside of the range, need to be in and out quick. Yes, Penny, exactly. When you're inside of the range, you take your profit and then you hold that runner in case it goes for you. So some great takeaways here. You can always check the daily, all right? Check the daily. It's building for that flag breakout on the daily, but it just hasn't built enough liquidity yet to do it. All right, it hasn't built the liquidity yet to do that move. Otherwise, it would have done it when we were above that initial balance high earlier. What's that, like an hour or 2 hours ago? Would have done it. All right, so this is your new H1 candle here. So we have a very big indecision candle on the last H1. And now you need to see, do they manipulate this candle and do a move, or is there no volume and they just walk away for the day? Yeah, Scott, I'm really glad you've said that. Scott said in chat, I've learned how important it is to know what type of day you are operating in. That is key. I promise you that is key. That will make a massive, massive difference to you, because you will now know if you are in a trend up day outside of the initial balance high, you will stop thinking about trying to short the market. And that is probably the biggest mistake I see traders make. And the same for a trend down day, you'll stop trying to buy the dip on the market. You'll just join the trend because you'll know that the market's telling you what it's trying to do. And then when you're inside of the range, you're trading the edges. Yeah. So I'm really glad you said that, Scott. That's awesome. Makes me happy. All right. So it's trying to pivot. All right. This is your channel. It is going to try and pivot. This is the liquidity. If the bulls can put up there, this is what they're trying to use. I've said it over and over and over again, but you are in 60-point range of crap, right? So for me, less interested. But if they start breaking out up here, maybe they do it over lunch. They've done it the last few sessions over lunch. Maybe they build it out after lunch. Maybe they don't do it at all. But if you start building up there, then you have the ability to trend up. So I'm going to leave you for the day, and I'm going to leave you, as I always do, with some options. These are your major swing points, right? These are the major swing points. This is what the market did. Then it failed this. All right. So from here, again, if you can trend up, you must respect this level here of supply. You must respect the initial balance high, and you must respect where it got stuffed. And also on a 5-minute chart, right, respect the top of that channel. But if we get up there and it gives you the opportunity and a signal for a bullish trend on the day, if it feels like it's built enough liquidity, if it does something like this, there's the shoulder, gives you another shoulder, push, pullback, flag, consolidation, these are areas to look to buy for extensions upside. If they're going to bid the market up in anticipation of tomorrow, you will get something like that. If you don't get that, you must not be buying high, okay? You must not be buying high if you don't get that pattern, because what they can do is come all the way back, fail, and go all the way back down. And they can quite easily just close the day around VWAP. Very, very easily, all down here. To the downside, what would you need to see? Exactly the same. You'd need to see effectively this whole thing play out. Downside pressure, rejection, and a clear move down. Be aware of the 5-day and the higher time frame algorithm. Be aware of this 20-day. This is the 20-day SMA. And then look at the liquidity pools. All right, so if we go, let's do this on a 30-minute chart or something. I'm just going to take these off just so I can look at some targets. Okay, so where did we find bids? Yesterday we found bids here. So if you get a flush, you've got to think about covers into here, unless it wants to be really nasty and do this move today, which is very unlikely just because of the range we've had, but it is possible. Then you can think about these stops here. I would very much doubt it would get past that range or even to it. So that's what I'd be looking at. These levels here, let's call them out, into 700 all the way down to 635. Those are potential cover points if the market trades underneath its initial balance. Upside targets, let's think about some upside targets for you. Let's go back to that, take this off. Upside targets are these stops right here. Oh, don't do that. Right, these stops right here. 925, all right, all the way into 925, you have about 3 or 4 days worth of stops. If you're trading the old contract, that is your 695 to 700 level. All right, again, look at the patterns. All right, this is what we might do on FOMC or after FOMC. All right, that's what I'm looking at if it can do that. So I've given you upside, I've given you downside. We've talked about what kind of range the market is in, what the conditions are today. Keep an eye on that 5-minute channel. It will help you understand where the market is. Don't chase it. If we snap that channel, right, don't chase a huge flush candle down, because it will need to come back and retest it to make sure sellers are in control. Until that point, there is nothing to do. Hope you've had a good session. Hopefully you've learned something. Even if you're not profitable, hopefully you've learned something. As always, please, please, please use hard stops. Get in the habit of using bracket orders and using hard stops. It's going to save you so much heartache. If you want to do the course, as always, the link is down below. There's $100 off. If you are one of the people watching this stream, use code YouTube. You will get my indicator that I use all day, every day. And you also get access to the Discord. Until then, I'll be back real soon. Check the videos out from the weekend. Apex still on 80% sale and a 1-day pass. I think you've got till the end of the month to do that, so it's great value. Until then, trade safe. Peace out.